All right. Well, happy Thursday, everybody.
Yeah.
My name is Jason Flame, Chief Instructor at Moorpark Karate and Krav Maga, joined by my co-host, Master Kevin Kowalczik in Littleton, Colorado, representing Revolution Martial Arts. Good
Yes,
afternoon,
sir.
sir.
How are you? How's it
I
going in
am.
California?
It's good. It's good. Hey, we got 6 viewers today. So if you're watching right now, drop us
Nice.
a comment and let us know who is watching and if you have any questions to add to today's topic. We've been doing this for about 5 weeks now. This is our fifth week where we just kind of jump on here with our Thursday thoughts. And so if you
Yes.
guys have any questions that you want to ask us that we can talk about for future, please let us know. And look who's watching. We got mom.
What's up,
Mom is
Mama?
watching.
Mama Bear, Mrs. K.
She's watching. Yeah. So our topic today is just a question: is martial arts a sport? We hear that a lot.
That's a good one. That's a good one. You want me to
Well,
kick that one off?
yeah,
You
jump right
want
in.
you want me to offend some people? Hey, here's the thing. Listen, I don't really care what people think because I just am who I am and I say what I think. And I know my beliefs because I believe in me and I have confidence. So my opinion is this: martial arts is not a sport. Now I believe it has become a sport. I believe it's evolved into a sport. But I think my giant conclusion I can come to is that martial arts transcends being a sport. So let me explain. I think martial arts is different than a sport in the sense that sports were designed with set rules and it was a game to play, and there's a winner and a loser, and there's a set organized, you know, rule set, I guess is the best word to say. But martial arts was designed for combat. Martial arts was designed for fighting. It was designed for life and death. Like martial arts was not ever designed to be a sport, but I think it has evolved over time. I've won 10 world titles being a sport martial artist. So
Hmm.
I can't say it's not a sport. But the one thing that I also find to be different about martial arts, I know you being a school owner, I think you could probably agree with this. I love sports. I played sports. I got kids that play sports. I think all of our students and black belts play sports. I think sports are great. However, I don't think there's another sport or activity that teaches discipline, confidence, focus, respect, integrity. Like, I don't think the life skills are there like they are with sports.
Hmm.
I think
It's
sports are
funny.
great for learning teamwork, right? What do you think
Yeah,
about that?
definitely. Well, I wanted to throw this comment up there, and I apologize because I don't recognize the initials MSG. But he said, "Funny thing, my son was just asking this, and I told him both yes and no. And we were talking a little pre interview here, and there is a sport aspect that has evolved from martial arts. I mean, you go back to uh, the Olympics, right? And
Absolutely.
wrestling. Wrestling is a sport. It's also a combat art. Martial arts, as you said, was developed in different countries for different reasons and different types of combat. And I agree. I think that martial arts, we talk about martial arts being a way of life, and it teaches all of those skill sets, those life skills, the focus, the discipline, respect. Um, what I really love about martial arts is that for any athlete, is that and my son is also a wrestler and a football player, and he used to
Phenomenal
play
athlete.
play
Yeah.
play baseball, and martial arts is such a huge benefit for anybody that plays sports because it helps them with their confidence, their focus, their discipline. Um, Now, of course, we do. Like you said, you have 10 world titles in a sport, karate. So there is the tournament circuit, which I think is a great outlet in what we do in martial arts. I look at our black belts and I always ask them, what do you want your focus to be? Do you want to focus on leadership and becoming an instructor? Do you want to focus on being a performance martial artist? Do you want
Yeah.
to go to tournaments? What do you want to focus more on, your weapons or your grappling? So there is that aspect to martial arts. We play games in classes, right? I'm sure you play games in
Exactly.
classes. There's
Yeah.
some sport, there's some teamwork involved. um, but yeah, so those are my thoughts. And one more comment here. I told him there is a competitive element mixed with all the other things you mentioned beyond sports. Exactly. Yeah. No,
100%.
totally. I think that they really blend. They complement one another, right? And
100%.
martial arts complements every sport.
I know a lot of coaches too that'll say they love when martial artists join their team because they have work ethic and they're
Hmm.
respectful and they know how to work hard and have discipline and all these things, right? But martial arts teaches those things. Like the ironic thing is, you know, as a parent, you would never go to a baseball coach or a basketball coach, which again, all sports are great. I have no problem with sports. But parents don't go to those coaches saying, hey, my child's having confidence issues. Can you help them grow some confidence? Or they're getting bullied. Or hey, my child needs to learn how to focus at school and bring their grades up. They come to martial arts and they demand that though, right? That's the expectation. Like that's
Hmm.
what we do. So that's why I said in the beginning, I think martial arts transcends just being a quote sport, right? Um, the flip side of that, though, is I truly believe that martial arts schools that are staying traditional and not evolving into sport martial arts, not evolving into some of the extreme martial arts or some of the creative stuff or the tournament circuit stuff that you see today, it's evolve or die, people. If you're not evolving, you're getting left behind, right? You really are. Everything evolves if you look at it, right? Everything evolves, right? Name something that doesn't. Like you have to learn to adapt and grow at the times. So I think there's a good, beautiful blend between the sport martial arts piece of it and also keeping the discipline and the structure of what martial arts is really created for, which is self-defense and combat, right? Times are different now. We're not fighting in the streets defending our cities and our homelands, right?
Not
So
yet.
that's why now we're competing in a sport karate world, right? But I think it's great that we're opening up the discussion.
Well, and you talked about evolution. Look at UFC. UFC
Exactly.
is a sport, and if you remember UFC one, and now if you watch the most recent
Crazy.
UFC, look at the
Yeah.
difference in the um, in just the style of how they fight and how they train and what they do. I mean, it started, I mean, pretty much as almost a tough man type contest to where now
Yeah.
the skill is off the charts. I mean, they
Yeah.
are totally professional athletes in every in every sense of the word. So there's definitely some
Yeah.
evolution there. And I wanted to tell this story because my students that are watching, or people that know me from way back when I was teaching, I was the karate instructor that was so irritated by sports. I was so irritated by, oh, I can't go to karate because I have baseball. I can't test this weekend because I have football, or I can't go to the
Uh,
tournament because I've got this. And it was like, well, why does karate always take the back seat to the sports? I was that guy
you
until
had
I had
kids.
kids. And
Yeah.
then I learned, oh, wait, there is another side to this, right? But that's where I really learned how it blended so well. And it is possible. We have in our school now, just like you, I'm sure you have tons of kids that are doing karate and soccer, baseball, football, gymnastics, so on and so forth, right?
Absolutely.
And
And I would just to interject, I would tell parents too that are watching, it's totally possible and doable to do both. Kai does soccer, Jet does hockey, like they do things too, but it's totally possible to do both. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And I think actually martial arts, since it's a year-round thing, they kind of cross train, they complement, they help other sports too. I
that's
think
right.
every national champion that we have that trains out of our studio here in Colorado, they all play some kind of other sport or do something at least part of the year, right? And
Hmm.
that's okay. But understanding the value and the place of the fact that martial arts is different, I
Hmm.
think is where the key is. People just have to understand it and be educated.
Yep. And you guys that are still watching, what are your thoughts? What do you guys
Yeah.
think about
What do
this
you guys think?
conversation so far? Questions, comments? You brought up something when you said that baseball coaches typically, or other sports coaches don't really, because you only have a couple months to get to know the kids, and so there's
Yeah.
not always that. Let's talk about bullying. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. When I started coaching, I actually taught, or I should say, I coached my teams like I was teaching a karate class, and I thought it was really interesting because the response that I got and the culture that we built within our teams was
That's
so
cool.
different and so amazing. It was just so, really close knit. So I loved it.
Well,
So I love this conversation.
I know you and I were talking about just recently is how much we care about our students and how personal it is to us. And I think it hits on part of what you were talking about is, we invest years into these kids. We invest our heart and soul into these kids. We're pouring into them. We're there when they have a bad day. Like we know those kids when they walk in the door and we can just look at them and tell. We know some of those students better than they know their parents know them, right? And we can tell when they're having a rough day. We can tell when they're getting bullied. We can tell when they need a little encouragement. Like we almost view some of those students like they're our own kids or our own family, right?
Totally.
So there's a totally different connection than there would be with like an average coach who's going to work with you for 8 weeks or 10 weeks or whatever, you know?
Well, think about it. I've had some students as well as you have, that start with you at 3 and they're with you till their teens, 20s. I
Yeah.
mean, we just graduated a 6-degree black belt who's been with me for 27 years, Charles Grimes. 27 years. I've seen him
Crazy.
graduate from middle school, high school, college, get married, have a career, change careers. He worked every position here at the
Yeah.
karate school. We've seen marriages, divorces, births, deaths. This whole family thing that comes together, and so that's how sometimes martial arts is different than sports, because when you play sports, you're with a team for a season and you move on, unless of course you're playing competitive hockey,
Right.
baseball, travel teams where maybe you're together, but even then there's some competition that comes with that, and sometimes that changes the dynamic of how teams stick together, right? But with martial arts, once you're a part of the family, you're kind of always part of the family. You can't really you can't leave your mom and dad. You could leave home and you leave mom and dad, but
Right.
they're still your mom and dad. You can earn your black belt and leave, and guess what? You're still part of the family, right? You'll always be
Absolutely.
part of that family. Always that.
Always.
That's
Yeah.
where martial arts has that connection that sometimes other sports don't have. Now, on the flip side, I still keep in touch with a lot of kids that I coached baseball, these little 4 and 5 year olds. I'm seeing them play all stars. I go and watch their
That's
games
cool.
sometimes. So it's
Yeah.
pretty neat. That's
That's
pretty neat.
cool.
So we're talking a little bit about how martial arts and sports kind of tie in together. This kind of brings us to talking about our sponsor, Raptor Extreme Karate,
Yeah.
and
The
how
evolution.
the evolution, right, the evolution of martial arts trends into that performance side. So talk about Raptor Extreme Karate.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I mean, like I said, everything evolves, right? And the evolution of sport martial arts and martial arts becoming a sport is becoming more mainstream. You're going to see it now more and more and more in the next few years to come, where the schools that are going to be thriving are the schools that in their specialty programs, they're offering something above and beyond just traditional martial arts. They're offering the sport karate, the extreme martial arts, the things that keep kids excited and motivated. Like it is taking that traditional foundation to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And not only does it keep kids inspired and students inspired and make them want to train and work harder, but it's also building better quality martial artists.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're going to see that a lot more in the future. Here is our sport and our industry, our world of martial arts. It's evolving, and those that don't evolve will be left behind. So,
Well, I'm excited to announce that we are one of the first in the country to jump
yes,
in and be one of the very first Raptor Extreme karate programs in our school. And so, for my students that are watching right now, or you'll watch this later, you know that we're bringing our demo team back. We have demo team practice every Friday at 6:30 to 7:15 with Miss Aguayo, formerly known as Miss Emily, and now Mr. Brosler, our team captains, along with Mr. Haw. And we've nominated our first two students. Ibu Kant was the first nominated for demo team, and
nice.
Jackson McMullen. You'd be amazed. I got to send you his form so you can see this, but
Congratulations, guys.
made it on his own. So we got demo team practice coming up, and then don't forget, guys, we have our elite weapons training at 5:45 on Fridays and 10:45 a.m. on Saturdays, and all of the weapons that we're doing, part of those elite weapons training classes, are from our Raptor Extreme program. And then of course we have our Raptor Extreme training on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. So just a reminder to you guys to take advantage of those classes. If you're in the elite program, this is how you are rewarded for your commitment to the program, your commitment to black belt, and your commitment to excellence by having a higher level of training. So
Yes, sir.
uh, I want to show you guys just a quick clip on Raptor Extreme Karate, and we'll be back next week with our Thursday thoughts. And if you have any topics that you want to hear us discuss, please let
Yeah.
us know. Thank you, Mr. K.
Yes, sir. Thanks for watching,
Raptor,
guys.
here it is, Raptor Extreme Karate. Take a look.